And we're back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. It's Frankly Football. And as you notice, something's a little different.
The ambiance is a little different than your surroundings there, my brother. Tell me what's going on with you. Echo a little different, no backdrop. What's happening in your life, man?
Well, I apologize for the echo. I still got to get things straight a little bit, but your boy got a new crib, man.
That's what's up, man. Doing big things in the world, man. Doing big things, man. That's awesome. Got the fiance, you got soon to be wife, and we got the new crib, man. Proud of you, man. Super excited for you, man. But we rounding the corner, man, and headed into to draft next week, man. So we got some content to put out, brother.
Absolutely, man. But this is my favorite time of year. So we had to get back in. We took a couple weeks off so I can get acclimated.
Absolutely.
To the grind.
Good.
So as you know, the draft is right around the corner, and that means that it's big board season. So you know why we're here. We have our top 50 board that we meticulously put together over our time off, and it's time to reveal and discuss that.
Got you, man. It took a lot of time, a lot of debate, a lot of arguing, tears, sweat, crying. I like him. No, I like him type thing, man. But we want to go ahead and put it out there, man, to get it out who we think who the top 50 guys in this year's 2020 NFL draft, the top 20 prospects, not the top where they should be drafted, but who we think are the top 50 players in this. And we'll start off, man. I'll start it off real quick with the top five. We got number one, quarterback out of Clemson. We all love to call him Sunshine, Mr. Trevor Lawrence. Number two is Penei Sewell, tackle out of Oregon. Zach Wilson, the throwing Mormon out of BYU. Kyle Pitts, the man himself, best tight end prospect in the last 20 years. I call him Kellen Winslow Sr., the second coming. And then number five, Jaylen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama, who, if most would know, during the first 4 games of the 2020 season, he was trending better than Deontay Smith. And until his injury, it turned out that he would have been the Heisman Trophy winner instead of Devontae Smith. Outstanding job by Alabama to use the weapons and tools they had. But Jaylen Waddle was number five. What do you think about that, big guy?
I 100% agree about Waddle. I think that without the injury, he would have been that highlighted receiver in that offense. That was honestly the trend in those first 4 games where he played.
Right.
And I think that Kyle Pitts, believe it or not, is the best receiver in this draft. That's why we have him a spot above Waddle.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely believe that. And then we turn around. Go ahead, bro.
And not to say that I think that I would personally want Kyle Pitts, because as you know, I am not a Kyle Pitts. I'm not a proponent of Kyle Pitts to my team, but this is not a Cowboy show right now. This is a draft show.
This is a draft show. He can say that all he wants to. If he ends up in Dallas at 10, he'll be having a dance. He'll be doing a choreographed hump dance somewhere in that big, beautiful homeland. That's what he'll be doing. I think, the one thing that we kind of went back and forth with players at number 2 with the top tackle, with Penei Sewell, making him the top tackle over this next one of the guys in our next 5 slots, is because of his upside. His floor is great. His ceiling is through the roof. So I think that's why we made Penei Sewell the second player on our big board. Number 6 is Michonne Slater, who I wanted 10 more than anything else in the world. Offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Number 7, we got Justin Fields, my second favorite quarterback in the NFL, behind Randy Dakota Prescott now. Jamar Chase, wide receiver at LSU, who, like Justin Fields, recently has kind of went down as being the best wide receiver in the country because he didn't play last year. JOK, linebacker, safety extraordinary, small, angry, mean dude from the Virginia area, out of Notre Dame, extremely good football player. And those are our. Oh, and I'm sorry, our number 9 player is our defensive end number 1, Mr. Jaylen Phillips.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I'm glad that you didn't forget him. I was gonna
Yeah.
bring that in.
No.
But
I got to put him in.
I think that Michonne Slater's ceiling is definitely higher than Panay Sewell. And let me say
Okay,
exactly why.
explain.
But
Explain,
I
bro.
do not disagree that Panay Sewell is our number 2 player. We've discussed this ad nauseum.
Right.
Rashawn Slater's what came in a little bit smaller than normal. Well, if you look at a picture that was just posted today, he looks right around the same size as one Zach Martin. And I'll tell you one other thing: Chase Young don't care how small his arms is.
Right.
We haven't seen anyone beat up on Rashawn Slater. We've seen someone beat up on Panay Sewell, and he's on our team.
Yeah, he can't get. Yeah, Bradley and I can't even get on the field in the NFL. But the number 2 player in this draft, number 2 prospect in this draft, is able to. He's whipped him several times. So, you just go by because they're prospects. We're always looking at what they can project to into the next level. Many people are like, well, just because you played in college, all that stuff goes away. Once you start playing against guys for mortgages and child support, it's a totally different world, which is true. But as we live and breathe right now, I think that some of these schools that we haven't always thought as being football powerhouses are producing really good players. You're going to really realize that Northwestern is a football factory, or has the ability to be a great football factory for guys who, to come in and play in the league. And Rashawn Slater is going to be, he may not be all pro, but he will give you 10, 12 years of steady, consistent, outstanding offensive line play. And when you're picking in the first round and you're picking one of the top 2 tackles off the board, that's what you want. You want a guy you can plug and play for 5, 10 years in your franchise, and he be that guy.
Absolutely. And to be totally honest, I don't see a reason why he couldn't be all pro, whether it's at guard or tackle. And I feel comfortable playing him all the way across that line.
Absolutely. And I think we had talked before, but with Panay Sewell, if he gets the nuances of the game, he can be all world. We kind of already seen what Rashawn Slater is because of his technique and his ability to work against certain things and work. He knows his deficiencies and he's able to work into those. That's what we like. What we like Rashawn Slater. I think he's a completed project. He's a complete player right now. He's pro ready right now. Rashawn Panay Sewell has all the tools, but now somebody's got to refine it even more.
Absolutely. Justin Fields, I think that some people would put him as their quarterback 1.
Okay.
And while I disagree with those people, I can't be mad at it because I feel like when it comes to traits, and I use this term with zero disrespect behind it. He's like a poor man's Cam Newton. And there's zero disrespect behind that.
Right. I mean, I think he's a more accurate passer than Cam was, coming out of school. I think he's going to be a more accurate passer in the league. I think he's a super, super smart kid. It's been said he may be sometimes too smart for his own good. Like he maybe over processes things. But as you've seen, his secondary or second read throws have been amazing. He's had, he's played injured, he's played hurt. And the only thing that Justin Fields doesn't have on his side is starts in college. We've seen through the years that once a guy gets about 36 starts in college, we start trying to nitpick him apart of what he is, what he can be, and what he can go do. The last guy who we thought was amazing coming out of college was Andrew Luck. And his senior year, we basically sat and picked his game apart about who he could do, how he could throw, if his mannerisms was right, could he lead a football team? And we just came to find out, man, that eventually the guy was probably the best prospect, best player, best quarterback coming out since John Elway. The only problem he played at Indianapolis, before they got that really good offensive line, and they beat them all to damn.
Yeah, it happens that, especially in Andrew Luck's case, the team didn't progress at the rate that he needed them to. And we could see that even the Statue of Liberty that was Phillip Rivers was able to behave at least competently behind that offensive line.
Absolutely.
So we can see where the team's downfall failed the player eventually. And I hope that you don't see that in a lot of more cases, because that'll lead to a lot more of those early career ends.
Right. Absolutely. So we'll look at Jaylen Phillips. I know we talked about him. He's our D1. I think he's in this class where you don't have a Myles Garrett, where you don't have a Chase Young. He shows the most upside. Honestly, this year we're kind of going on what we've seen, because of all the years that people have talked draft. This is the one year you kind of have to go on what you've seen, because you haven't maybe seen a lot of teams didn't play, a lot of access and things of that nature, and seen them. But Jaylen Phillips is such a really good upside and prospect. And I think what you said before, you like the fact of the matter that it came out that it wasn't him who tried to quit football. They tried to make him quit football. And that's what really was a push up the board for me.
Absolutely. Initially, when I watched Jaylen Phillips film, I loved him. He on skill alone, he was edge one. But I said that I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole based on the fact that he had already retired. So he was completely off on my board. But once I figured out that he was pushed away from the game and transferred in order to get back to it, that removed all fear on my part as a prospect. So it catapulted him up to 8.
Gotcha. So that's with those guys. Then we look at 11 through 15. We've got J.C. Horn, cornerback, South Carolina. Some of us cornerback 1, some cornerback 2, but he's number 1 on our board as being the first cornerback. We got Patrick Surtain, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Deontay Smith, Heisman Trophy winner, number 13. Number 14, we got our second D lineman, Kwity Paye, at 14. And then we have our first true linebacker, Buckets Award winner. No, first true linebacker, Xavier Collins at 15 on our board. What you think about that, B?
So here's the thing about Devonta Smith. Him being our third wide receiver does not mean that we dislike him. I just think that Jamar Chase was in a situation where he didn't have to fight with another guy on his same team, in a sense how Chase kind of has that fans kind of split up their love between Chase and Waddle. Pardon me, not Chase and Waddle, Smith and Waddle. Chase doesn't have that. So there's that. But then I also think that Devonta Smith benefited from Jaylen Waddle not being on the field. I think that he's still a very good receiver. I do not fault him for his size or anything like that, because ain't nobody been able to make him look small yet.
Okay. Good deal. I definitely believe that.
Yeah. J.C. Horn and Pat Surtain. Here's the funny thing. Pat Surtain, while he is my second corner on the board, he is not my cornerback 2.
No, he's not. He is not your cornerback 2. He is not. It's kind of open how you feel about who your cornerback 1 and cornerback 2 are. I want to, kind of go back about your wide receiver thing. This is the one year that you got 2 guys. The number 1 wide receiver on our board being Jamar Chase, because if Jamar Chase would have come out last year, if he would have been eligible to come out last year, he probably would have went before Ruggs, or he would have probably went before Ruggs. He would have probably been right there with Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb and and Justin Jefferson. So you would have thought about that wide receiver class as being one of the best wide receiver classes in history had he been able to come out. So him not playing, you kind of forgot who he was. Devontae Smith, we're questioning everything about him outside of the fact that he's a really, really good football player. Our concern is his size going to be able to translate to the next level. But as a prospect, he is the absolute. He's the third best. To me, he's the third best wide receiver in this draft, and I don't have a problem where we placed him. Our cornerback situation has gone back and forth. Your cornerback one is again, Brandon?
J.C. Horn.
J.C. Horn. So your cornerback two is
Kelvin Joseph.
Kelvin Joseph. Right. Now, so for some people, they don't know that name, and we'll bring that up a little bit later. But if you know about his background, he's an outstanding cornerback. But for this
questionable person, but
hey, he's got some questions in his life. He's got some questionable things he's done, but he gives us the opportunity when he's on the field. He's a great player. I think most people have fallen in love with J.C. Horn over this process with the different videos he's put out and different things he's done. Whereas Patrick Surtain has just done his work on the field and said, I'm going to let my work on the field stand for what I stand for and go from there. I mean, I really haven't heard much from Patrick Surtain this entire, draft process. He just did his work and said, hey, I'm going to let my work stand on that. I don't have to sell you on me. I've done the work. So, they're 1A, 1B. For some, they're 1C. But those three guys, without question, are all first round talents. All of them ain't going in the first round, but they first round talents.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that character issues, as we'll get into it in the next couple spaces, we'll talk about character issues with some of these corners. But you're right. All of them aren't going to be taken in the first round, but definitely first round talents. Right. Now, Zaven Collins, we made this board before he got weighed in, which I think was late last week or early this week. Came in at 270 pounds. I think that kind of solidifies him. He's probably going to be like your 3-4 outside linebacker, basically an edge rusher.
Yeah, for the most part, that's what he is. So, yeah, he's going to be that 3-4 outside linebacker. He's going to be he's going to be like T.J. Watt. He's going to be a T.J. Watt guy. Put his hand in the dirt, set the edge type guy, and that's fine. And so it may knock him down for certain teams where he fits. But as for him being what he is and a man of his size to do what he does, he's an outstanding talent. So I definitely think he's one of the top 5 linebackers in this draft. When we go to 16 on our board, we go with our other first round talent but questionable person. That's Mr. Michael Parsons out of Penn State. Then we do 17. A name that you'll come to know, Elijah Vera Tucker, tackle out of USC. Very good ball player. Number 18, Trey Lance, quarterback. North Dakota, is it North or South? It's North Dakota State.
North Dakota State, yeah.
Yeah, North Dakota State. And then we got Azeez Ojulari, defensive end, University of Georgia. Talk to me about them, B.
So here's the thing about Michael Parsons. We do our board based on talents, not necessarily where we rank them.
Right.
Michael Parsons on our board is much higher than where I would rank him as in regards to his position. I can pull up my position rankings as we speak.
Right.
And let's see, Parsons is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's linebacker 7 for me.
So linebacker 7 he's linebacker 7, but as for talent, he's the second best. He's the second best talent. So that lets you understand.
Technically third.
Okay.
JOK is still up there.
Okay. All right. Okay. JOK is kind of a jack, but I understand he's a jack of all trades. So, but when you're looking at that, there are specific things that Zaven Collins coming into this process we thought he could do, but he's not kind of solidified as being a Sam defensive end, 3-4 defensive end. JOK.
Now, for what it's worth, that is his thing that if you recall a few weeks ago, I talked about Micah Parsons and why I liked so many linebackers above him. And I said that their thing and the linebackers that I used in that example were Nick Bolton, Xavier Collins, and JOK. I said that JOK as a Will, Nick Bolton as a Mike, and Xavier Collins as a Sam. They all do those things better than Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons may
Right.
do all around, some things well, but he's not a master of any of those things like you'll
Yes.
see from all of
Yes.
those guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a big thing when you're drafting, as we see him on the board, because there's like if you draft him, you're drafting him for his ceiling because
Yes,
his floor is height, weight, speed, phenomenal, this, that, and the third, but you're gonna have to mold him. And if you draft him in the first round, your fan base is gonna be like, "Where's our first round draft pick?" But
absolutely.
you're drafting him because he's got the intangibles. Think about it; it may take you a year, maybe 2 years to get that out of him. I heard uh, Dalton Miller say on a show with Vacha Lombardi, if you get opportunity, like he says he's Jaylen Smith.
Hmm.
He's
Interesting.
Jaylen Smith. Jaylen Smith, extremely athletic. Has all the excitement and buzz, but still needs to kind of learn more about the linebacking position, how to process, how to read, and do certain things. So that's why, a guy um, like Micah Parsons is questionable. We got number 20 with Rashawn Bateman.
Hmm.
That's one of your guys. 21, Boss Man Fat, Kelvin Joseph.
Hmm.
22, Christian Darrisaw.
That's all.
Uh, yeah, 23, Jalen McFields, and 24, Nick Bolton, and number 25, Richie Grant. Richie Grant, who is safety two on
Yeah, safety
Big
two for
B's
me.
board.
Safety two for
Safety
me.
two for B, right? Safety
so
one for
so
me, but safety two.
this is honestly the 5 or 6 person set that I'm the most excited about here. When
Okay.
it comes to Nick Bolton, he was some of the most exciting film to watch. And I said to this day, since this all season began, I've had the second most fun watching Nick Bolton's film. He's not going to blow you away with the physical measurables. Not the
Mm-hmm.
biggest guy, not the fastest guy, not the strongest guy, but he's probably the most cerebral, probably the smartest defensive prospect in this entire draft. Um,
Mm.
and that's how he's able to succeed. He uses his eyes, his mind to start moving to where he needs to be a step before he actually needs to start doing it, and that's how he's able to succeed.
So we can be assumptive to say that you don't have to be the biggest and fastest and strongest, but if you're the most active and most cerebral, that pushes you up Brandon's board. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Because that's going to answer the question about somebody else later on. We went and looked at safety two. What we talked
Mhm.
about Kelvin Joseph. We saw what we felt about Kelvin Joseph. We think he's a first round talent. Just
Mhm.
questionable character, which I think will push him down the board, preferably maybe to a comp pick, maybe in the third round, and maybe somebody pick him up, maybe have a defensive coach, maybe a really good, strong secondary coach, and they can kind of turn his life around and, put a star in his helmet. But I mean, that's just me,
Yeah,
wishing
you know, a man
wishing
can
for
dream.
something great to happen. Yeah,
A
I can
man can
dream.
dream.
But we also talked about Richie Grant
Yeah.
coming into this process. When we came to the Senior Bowl, um, he was safety. He became safety one for me. He's never had an
Mhm.
opportunity to be safety one on Brandon's board in no shape, form, or manner. But
You know.
I think if you're going to play in this league and have the ability to play single safety high, you got to have a guy that has great instinct, a guy who can move laterally, hash to hash, and be able to get there and make plays. And Richie Grant is that guy for us.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. I think that Richie Grant, he's fast, very very fast guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he is one of only two safeties that I would trust in a single high look in this entire draft.
Entire draft. Yep.
Yeah,
Entire draft.
entire draft. I would only trust two in single high situations.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
and yeah, he's bigger than safety one. So that's going to catapult him up multiple teams'
Right.
boards
Right. A
with that
lot of boards
alone.
you go. Yeah, that will put him in because people are worried about size. I think
Mhm.
that's changing because I think people just want guys who can go make plays. I think you don't want to overlook a talent because of guy's size.
Absolutely.
You look at Tyrann Matthews and Honey Badger. You know,
Yep.
people
Bob
question his size.
Sanders.
Yeah, but I knew you were gonna bring that guy up because I know you love him. And Antonio Winfield Jr.
Yes. Yes.
So the question about the size of a safety, but if a guy can play, that makes all the difference in the world. If you look at number 26, we got Joseph Osai. 27 is
Yes.
77 Jenkins. 28, my D tackle one, Marvin Wilson. 29,
Yes.
your favorite corner in this draft, Asante Samuels.
I wouldn't say
And
favorite,
rounding
but I
it,
love him.
yeah, you love him a lot.
Yeah.
But your favorite player, your pet cat, is number 30,
Yes.
and that's Mister Safety One, Darius Washington. Talk to us about Darius Washington. Tell us why
So
Darius Washington is Safety One, my friend.
throughout all of Twitter, the entire Twitterverse, you will not see anything negative said about Ardarius that isn't hype related. And if that's all you can say about a guy, then you ignore that. Um, like we just talked about, Bob Sanders crawled so that Tyrann Matthew can walk, so that Ardarius Washington can run.
Oh,
The
Antonio Winfield Jr. could run. That's
oh
what he
yes,
did. Because
true.
right. So now you just want to continue to flow in that process of saying my single safety high, my free safety he doesn't have to run a 4-4 because he has everything in front of him. If he runs a four
Absolutely.
six, which Darius did, that's the question. It's going to be that GM that says, well, he doesn't run a 4-5. Well, he's a safety. He doesn't have to run a 4-5. That's why you got the
Yes.
corner to run with him. He's got to be able to lead a process. He's got to be able to read. He's got to be a playmaking type of guy. And Darius is all those different things. His counterpart is a little bit further down the board, but many people love him more. But if we were picking, or we would fight in the war room. But if Brandon got
Absolutely.
a chance to write on the card, he's putting our Darius Washington and sprinting to the board a whole lot earlier than most people were taking.
Now here's the
Absolutely.
thing. Here's the thing. People will like Javon Moore because he probably has like 5, maybe even 6 inches on Ardarius.
Mm-hmm.
So like we said, size is a thing. But
Mm-hmm.
Darius Washington ran, I believe it was a 4.63 on
Mm-hmm.
his pro day. That's not something that shows on the field. Um, his IQ and his instincts, top tier in regards to the safety position. He's
Mm-hmm.
another one of those guys where he can start moving before he needs to in order to take advantage. So while running in a straight line, he may not be the fastest guy. Game speed, unparalleled.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Absolutely. Um, Another guy that we haven't talked a lot about inside of that is number 29, Asante Samuels Jr. Educate the people on Asante for me, my friend.
Here's my thing, man. People have kind of delegated the smaller corners to slot corners,
Mm-hmm.
and I disagree with that, man. I disagree
Okay.
because Asante Samuel Jr. has been a guy where he's able to play excellent in press man. His zone
Okay.
is nowhere near as bad as people give credit for. I actually like his zone play
Okay.
better than some other people in this draft, in my opinion.
Okay.
Um, and he got some dog in him, man. Attitude is something that you can't really teach.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha. Some fight. You gotta have some fight.
Absolutely, absolutely. I struggle. I struggle internally sometimes because Asante Samuel is right under Pat Surtain in my
Mm-hmm.
cornerback rankings. I
Gotcha.
struggle if I like him a little bit more, and I can feel it in my gut sometimes.
Mm. Okay.
Hmm
Okay. All right. So let's look at number 31, which is Deontay Brown, which I think is one of the top
Now,
guards. Go
but
ahead.
before we go on,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to stay in the same group. Marvin Wilson,
Oh,
Florida
my fault.
State.
My fault. My fault. D tackle one on the board
Yes,
for me. Go ahead.
yes. Here's the thing, in regards to Marvin Wilson as he relates to the Cowboys. Luckily, one techs don't necessarily go super early.
Right.
Um, and he's going to be one of those guys that will fall just as consequence to the position group.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a guy that I would love to have on my team. If it and this is going to be something that hurts me. At
Mm.
75, if it comes down to Marvin Wilson or Darius Washington, I don't know what I'm going
Okay. I mean, I'll put it this way. I think the two best defensive tackles in this draft, the whole world hates, which makes it great for me.
to do. Yes,
Which which I think is Marvin Washington and Lane McNeil. But I think
yes.
they're all enamored by a guy like Christian Barmore, and
Mm-hmm.
because they saw him in the championship game and they figured he could be this kind of guy. I want to look at what a guy has been able to do um, and handle himself when he's played at the collegiate level, and he can give me snaps. I don't need
Mm-hmm.
flash plays because you're not going to be up by 3 touchdowns in the NFL and be able to just pass rush. You're going to be able to play and be able to get those snaps along in the game. I've seen Marvin Wilson for the last 3 years. Last two
Yes.
years, he was out there whipping folks. He was out there whipping a guy who me and you know and love, and Makai Becton. He was out there doing
Yeah.
certain things. Alain McNeil, I think, was playing totally opposition. And for a long time, I didn't really like him. I think he was playing too much
Love it, Lee
zero.
McNeil.
Yeah, and you love him. You loved him, but honestly, I had to fight you about Elaine with Marvin because I would
Yeah.
take Marvin. You love Elaine, so I think honestly, if you end up with one of those three guys on your board in your range, and you're trying to get a one technique and a one technique, or maybe a guy who can do some one and play some three, uh, there's three guys I'd look at before Christian Barmore out the gate.
Absolutely.
And that would be Marvin Wilson, that would be Elaine McNeil, and it would be Tyler Shelvin. I'm more
Yes.
enamored with those guys than I am in Christian Barmore, and that's crazy coming out of a factory like Alabama.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, I want you to go into this next set because it's a couple guys that I
Gotcha.
like here.
Yeah, you got Deontay Brown, one of the top
Mm-hmm.
guards in this draft. Well, I think it's kind of guard one for me. If I think he's guard one. If I mean just full fledged guard. I don't think Deontay Brown can play tackle, but I think he's guard one for me on this board. Kadarius Toney out of Florida, Trayvon Morig, uh, Greg Newsome for some people, cornerback three. Some people cornerback four, and Trey Smith, number 35. Tell me about Trey Smith.
Now, before I go on to Trey Smith, I want to talk about Deontay Brown a little bit.
Mm.
Deontay Brown comes out to be guard one for me because what's the other kid's name? Uh, Wyatt Davis can't stay healthy.
Right, right. Okay. And you like
Um,
Wyatt Davis a lot. You
I
really like
do.
him. Right.
I really do. I really do like Wyatt Davis, but he had to get helped off the field 3 times in 2020. Most recently in the national championship game, we thought that it would be a situation where he may not be ready to play in his freshman season in the league, his rookie
Gotcha.
season in the league. Let me reword that. Deontay Brown is going to be a lot more dependable to be on the field because the best ability is availability.
Availability. Absolutely.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you show up? That's right. Can you show up? So that's a one thing that you have to always sit back and look at when you think with with guys. But I think Deontay Brown has just was solid through and through. Just solidified himself as being guard one. I think, they had the kind of season that they didn't get any layoff. Usually they play against, Southwest Directional School of the Blind. He doesn't have to play all these games. He had 13 slobber knocker fights. And I think by the time he got to Senior Bowl, he didn't, show and prove as well as he could. But I think Deontay Brown will be an amazing guard in this league for years and years to come. We already talked about the TCU safety and Morrig.
Yes.
Greg Newsome. Tell me how you feel about Greg Newsome.
I like Greg Newsome, man. Some people would say that I do not like Greg Newsome because I put Asante Samuel Jr. above him. That's not true. I just like Asante Samuel better. That's all that is. I think that Greg Newsome is going to be one of those guys who he's probably going to be a first round talent.
Gotcha.
And not even necessarily a first round talent. I'm not sure about that yet. But he's definitely going to be drafted in the first round because after those first, especially after the Farley injury, after those first two guys are gone, he's probably next up because I don't think that a team is going to take a chance on Kelvin Joseph early because of the character.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Which is great for me because if he just falls to the third round, second compensatory pick, I'm loving life. So I think that's going to happen. I think Greg Newsome will be amazing in the league. I think he's another guy playing in college where so many of these college coaches played him out of position, played him a lot of zone, but he's amazing as a press corner. So I think that's going to be really good. So I think he'll be fine. Right. We were talking about Trey. Go ahead.
So Trey Smith.
Yes.
I think that he's very efficient, very tough, super wide base. That's going to be the thing. He's going to be a space eater.
Right.
So if he's not up against like one of those really twitchy, super fast defensive linemen,
right,
he can be a brick wall to be there to protect your quarterback.
Gotcha.
So I really like Trey Smith as a guard. Once again, he's one of those guys that's benefiting from Wyatt Davis' injury woes.
Gotcha. So he's getting pushed up because Wyatt Davis can't stay healthy.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So we got those guys. Let's go back a little bit. I think that's all I have for those guys. Let's see. So we continue to look on this board. We go down a little bit further. We got 36. We got Liam Eckenberg, tackle out of Notre Dame. Travis Etienne. This is our first running back on our top 50.
Yes.
That's showing you the days of how big a running back is and how important a running back is has gone away to the point that now, hey, running back is a part of the offense, but it's not like the most important part of the offense. And Etienne is our first running back on the board. And I think me and you kind of talked back and forth earlier this week, even after our board. We even debated if he was really the first running back that would go in the draft.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure. The thing about between Etienne and Harris, I think that Najee Harris is probably going to be one of those guys who can do it all. He's definitely a power runner, but he's also been able to catch the ball efficiently as well.
Right.
Etienne is one of those guys who kind of remains stagnant a little bit. And it's another guy who isn't.
Do you think he peaked?
Not yet. He peaked in the collegiate level, but as far as a player, not yet.
Do you think he has a little CJ Spiller in him?
Absolutely. CJ Spiller. What's another guy? I don't want to say Mark Ingram, but he's gonna be a great. I don't want to say complimentary back, but he's going to be part of a rotation in the team. That's where he's going to fit in best. A team like Cleveland or maybe even San Francisco that uses a great rotation of backs, not necessarily featuring one. That's where he's going to be able to fit in best.
Okay. So that's where you put ETN. Whereas you would put Najee Harris. Najee Harris could be a bell cap.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I 100%
Okay.
think so.
Okay. Got you. I got you. I can feel you on that. When you turn around and keep going, we took number 38, as we just finished talking about Najee Harris. Then we take our first medical question guy, who, and like you said, we talked about our board a couple weeks back, but the medicals came back. Caleb Farley. Got Caleb Farley at 39. We got Jason Uwe at 40. We already talked about Christian Barmore at 41. Okay, I think we'll go there. That's where we'll go. I think that we'll go as far as that because I think I just gave you one extra one. So of that group, tell me something about Jason Owe.
Before we get to Owe, I want to talk about Caleb Farley.
You're a long time when we started this process. This is the beauty of the draft, man. When we started talking about the draft back in January, you told me, AC, Caleb Farley is cornerback one. Hands down, I ain't seen nobody better than him. He's my guy. I'm rocking with him. I was like, really? Virginia Tech? That guy? Yeah, man. He's it. Nobody's passing him. And in this process, you have not let your opinion capture you, but you've not been captured to your opinion and be able to change that. Now, with Caleb Farley being hurt, now the medical's coming back, and we did our boards with the medicals not coming back. What do you feel about Caleb Farley?
Tony Romo will tell you, once it's a disc, it's always a disc. so here's the thing, man. If it would have been anything else, it could have been a knee. It could have been a shoulder. It could have been a pectoral because we have certain players on our team who had to miss their rookie season due to pectoral injuries.
Gotcha.
Back and neck are things that I won't play around with. Those are things that will never, ever go away. We currently are dealing with a player who is still on his rookie contract who is dealing with constant neck injuries. And I can't sign off on taking a guy in the first round knowing that he has that injury history. And here's the thing. He had to get 2 vertebrae fused. I think that's what the surgery was. Practicing because he didn't play in 2020. He injured himself practicing. We're talking about practice, not the game.
Not a game.
Not the game.
Practice.
Practice.
Got you.
So that knocked him way down my board. He may had prior to the injury been in the same spot where J.C. Horn is currently.
Gotcha.
Without that injury, but after that news, it knocked him way down. I had to put some respect on his abilities, and I think that he still belonged in the bottom portion of our top 50 board because I do think that a team in the bottom portion of the first round, maybe the late 20s or 30s, will take a chance on him.
They'll look at the doctor. They'll look at the doctor and say, "Can he give us his potential for what we'll be able to have him do?" And because his feeling is through the roof. He's lightning quick. Absolutely. He's got so much room to grow. You want to hope how well he'll develop, and somebody's gonna take a chance on him. Okay, so 42, we got Wyatt Davis, who we talked about. 43, a tackle that a lot of people like. I'm not very fond of because I don't think he's very physical as Alex Leatherwood. 44, the guy that most people would not have been able to pick out of a lineup anywhere in America, Mac Jones. 45, we got Terrence Marshall. 46, Mfete Melofambu. I've gotten better with that, bro. Got really good with that.
But for those of us that have been with us for the long haul, just go back and listen.
Man, I butchered this cat's name, man. You know, that phonics stuff really works, man. I'm about to mess this guy's name up. Pat, give it to me, man.
Freeman.
Okay, see, I got to get that next level of hooked on phonics to be able to take it. We got Hansine Nerelzuddin, 48, big time safety / linebacker, super athlete out of Florida State. 49, Patrick Jones. And to finish out our list, number 50, Mr. Creed Humphreys. Give me your favorite out of that. Give me your favorite out of that bunch.
So you named like our last like 8 people. I used to be really high on Alex Leatherwood. And then when I was watching the Senior Bowl film, Quincy Roach beat up on him constantly. He abused him, bullied him.
Right.
And my thing with the Senior Bowl practice and then the game is I think that is a great man, that might be one of the best pieces of film that you can use to evaluate someone. I hold it in very high regard. Because that's where a lot of guys, especially smaller names, are gonna be fighting hard to prove themselves. And Alex Leatherwood got beat up. He got beat up and he beat himself way down my tackle rankings as a result.
Well, I'll give him the same pass I gave Deontay Brown, is that they just came off of the stretch of winning 13 straight games and playing at high level the whole time. That when they got ready to get hit, Quincy Roach hadn't played for like 3-4 weeks, so he was well rested. He was ready to go, and he felt this is my last chance to show anybody what I can do. So I think he did well. I would not. And Quincy Roach is maybe DN number 4, maybe 5 for us on our list.
I got to look, but he's down the line. He's down the line.
So I understand how you feel about Leatherwood. I just don't think he's physical enough. But I won't beat him up too bad because the same pass I gave Brown, I got to give him as well. There's a couple of guys on here that I'm really excited to see. I'm excited to see Creed Humphrey. I'm excited to see what Nancy does at the next at what he does at the next level.
Very
because I think I'm so excited about his upside, his potential, and what he can become. I mean, he could be, the super freaky outside, will linebacker running around, making plays, tackling guys. People can't get away from him because of the height, size, and speed. So I just think he has a great upside. But that's our board, man. That's our top 50 players. As always here, when we're here, we're here. And when we're not here, we're here on YouTube for you to critique us. Tell us that, hey, man, Chris, you crazy. Hey, yo, Brandon, man, you out of your mind. Hey, yo, I like that. So we want you to interact with us. We want you to say, hey, we like this, we like that. We want you to continue to subscribe, continue to share, continue to give us feedback so we can become better. Man, we're working on our 1 year of doing this, man. We're so excited about everything. And we're doing the game, man, but we're really trying to put our footprint in this YouTube world. So give us a like, give us a check mark, give us a question, give us a comment. We greatly appreciate it, man. This is our top 50 board. Draft week is upon us, man. All the work we've been talking about, all the things we're doing, draft week's upon us, so we got more content, more stuff to put out, man. So rock with your boys here, Franklin Football, man. I'm starting off Chris, man.
And I'm Brandon. This has been Franklin Football. Peace.